No, I understand. It was wise of you to bring them here, Count. They'll receive the best treatment in all of Ustalav. Early signs of bleaching. This is the response to stimulus. An Iron Fang veteran? Ah, I think I recognize this. Her eyes betray much. Now, for their admission records, may I have their names?
Our adventures through Briarstone Asylum, our efforts to survive so far have been stressful, difficult. We've gone enough now, we've played enough that I would believe. What do you guys have?
I found the ring to the mic. And I was like, how did you...
Oh,
I was like,
Yeah,
how
that's
did
the
you
part.
break it? And now
That's
I
the
see
part that broke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody looked too closely at MD's microphone stand. It's totally functional and not zip tied together because it broke at all. It's it's perfectly fine. You guys have survived for a couple of days now. You have pushed out past the Argus wall, allowed the survivors to access the rest of the asylum. And last week, you formulated a plan to deal with whatever the haunting was in Administrator L.J. Lissandro's office. I added this stress system on the Strange Aeons. This is a thing that I have made. It's I've got rules for it back here. Currently, nobody has really seen them except for me. And I gave a little bit of a peek when I started putting them together over on our Patreon stream one time, but even they haven't seen the full set of the rules, just kind of the design goals and the concept. You guys may, probably surely by this point, have started to put together a little bit about how this system works, a little bit about some of what it does, what it can do. And I'm going to give you your first little bit of further insight into what this is, or rather, when this starts making a difference. There's 2 thresholds on this bar. I guess 3, technically, if you count 10. 10
4.
definitely does something.
If you're at 0.
But no, 0, 2, 3 are a pool. So at 4 points, you are at the first threshold of stress. Nobody is below that. Nobody has managed to get below that yet. Understandable, perhaps, given the circumstances in Briarstone. The second is at 7, where Trey has very recently gotten to during our battle last week. Of course, the third threshold is this pitch black bead here at 10. The 4 and the 7 thresholds have effects. They'll start to do things. Rules start to apply. You don't know exactly what they are. 10 is going to be very immediately apparent. Very immediately apparent. A degree of what is going to occur. As we ended last week, you had just managed to defeat the trio of manifestations swirling through the mist around the figure, almost certainly the administrator herself, in the middle of the office. With a seeming level of safety, finally, Trey had strode forth into the cloud, I believe trying to get the Ring of Keys off of her belt. Make me a will save.
Oh, I got a 20.
Never seen a man want to fail so bad.
It'd be funny.
He wants to know.
For the goose.
He wants to know what happens.
I already know
20.
what happens. You fall asleep. That happened to me last night.
Oh, you know what happens in this. You want stress. You want
Yeah.
to get spooked. As you stride into the mist here, you are a little more ready this time. You had walked into it during the battle and it immediately passed on the floor. Gesundheit. You got another one in there? Awesome. Is there a third? Are we good? You chilling? Make sure Sully's empty before we continue. You had not expected it the first time, the strange weakness that had come over you, the almost immediate, like narcoleptic onset of unconsciousness. But this time, you steel yourself, you stride through, you lean down, and you yank the keychain off of your belt. You, as you step into the cloud, do feel something. There's not no effect here. The room seems to fall away behind you. The closer you get to Lysandro's figure, the thicker the mist seems to be. All of you outside the cloud, you included when you're out there, can clearly see into it, can see her. It's not that thick of a mist, but when you're in it, it feels near impossible to see out. You can barely even look down and see your own feet in the pool of blood standing on the floor. You grab the keys, and I imagine, without dawdling,
back out.
step right back out of the cloud. The room returns normal, and everything comes back into focus around you.
Just walk out, twirling them around my finger. Go. Can we leave now? I want to be near this if they come back again.
There are a couple of keys on this ring. Most of them look like they are probably keys that would fit into, obviously, doors throughout the asylum. They're about the size and shape that would fit into locks. So many of these doors have, even though none of them you've come across actually are locked themselves. One, however, is much smaller. It might be to a chest or a drawer or something. It's clearly too little to fit into a full-size door. Looking around her office again, just as a...
We haven't even looked at half of it.
Yeah, just as a brief refresher of the area. You've got the two levels. There's a spiral staircase in the corner that leads up to this almost like canopy catwalk of a lofted floor above the ground, just at the top of the cloud of mist. And there are several small desks, bookshelves, oddments. On the west side of the room, there are a pair of smaller desks that look like they may have been for scribes or interns, and almost immediately behind Lysandro, the blood running over 1/4 of this desk is what must be her main station, a huge carved slab of white marble set a few feet away from the spiral staircase. The fog sort of rolls over most of this desk. It's large enough to extend a bit out of it. But there are a lot of things in here. There was also another door on the eastern side that leads further into the administration wing.
I think we should probably do something about the administrator.
Like what?
I don't know. Wake her up. She's still alive, unless that crossbow killed her. I'm gonna approach her.
Give me a will save.
Whoosh. I got a 10 total.
A 10 total. As you walk in and you step towards her, the mist thickens around you, just like I'd explained to Trey. It's difficult to see out. It becomes so thick, in fact, that light can barely enter. The colors swirling around you start to mute and fade and are replaced with just an oppressive black darkness. The rest of you, seeing MD walk in, see him stumble. He does not drop prone on the ground like Trey did, but he does sort of stumble to a stop and kind of slump, like he's asleep on his feet. His knees bent a little bit, his head bowed down. You can't see his eyes to tell if they're closed, but
Definitely just gonna get him back.
you can
out.
definitely just grab
Yeah.
him at the edge of the cloud. Yeah.
We know what happens when you fall asleep. I'm not gonna let him sleep.
And MD, take a bless from Jen. I'll allow it. She's not on this show. You can do it to other shows. That's fine. Just can't do it on your own.
Can we now?
Malevolence about to get pumped. We've always had a rule. We can't give support to the shows that we're on, but we finally have multiple shows now. So I'm like, hey, you can do it to other shows. That's the point. That's support. That's what we want. That's good. I'm super here for that. I also have about a bazillion points that we can just pump. I have 42,000 channel points.
Oh my gosh.
I've had the stream open for every stream we've ever done, and
Yeah.
I've never spent any. I have a lot, okay?
Banes all around. Banes all the time.
You could bane everybody and then undo it and then do it again.
She baned me. You, MD, as you feel this darkness, you don't feel yourself fall asleep. You still feel as if you're walking, but you suddenly feel as if the room around you is expanded. You can't see anything. Everything you see is just darkness. But you do hear a voice. It sounds like a child, little boy, maybe. Brenton, the light went out. And then you feel yourself being pulled, lurched backwards as Trey drags you out of the cloud, and you come back to your senses, back in the office.
I think I found the brother.
Well, is he in there?
I walk back towards her.
Oh, there you go.
Right. I'm gonna let him walk into the mist, and I'm gonna walk around to the big fancy desk.
Okay.
This is my life right now.
Give me your will save, and then as Trey walks over,
23.
much better, steal this time. You step back in the mist as Trey moves around to her desk, the big marble desk.
Yes.
The surface of her desk is covered in a small assortment of notes and journals. There is a very large, wide calendar taking up a large amount of the desk space, with some other things are laid on top of. Pretty well filled in with a whole bunch of times, appointments, and names. Glancing it over, none of it jumps out to you. None of it seems particularly important.
I'm just looking for a lock drawer.
But you would be able to pretty quickly find a lock on the desk that leads to one of the entire legs is one big compartment of several drawers that is locked behind a single panel opened by that tiny key that you have. And as you open that up and pull out a lot of things, actually.
A lot of things, or like just a large container of thing?
So it's a big front panel that opens up, and then there are several drawers and shelves behind it. Looking through them, there are a lot of supplies, both personal and what look like they may have been useful to the administrator. She's got an assortment of small vials and filters, little clay and iron pots and flasks of things, several small oddments and symbols, a rack of more references, personal journals, a few magnifying glasses. There is just a bunch of stuff in here. It's pretty well full, and the size of the leg of this desk here, the marble desk itself, is massive. It's several feet across, probably like 3 or 4 feet high, and that again deep. So there's a lot of stuff to rifle through.
I'm gonna get rifling.
As you're rifling, you again approach Lissandro, MD, and as he does, are you two still just hanging out outside?
I want to go rifle too. I want to look at the camera.
You could go help him rifle? Fair
Yeah, I
enough.
love rifle.
What about you?
I want to get
Cammy?
my arrow back. But what I would like to do, seeing what's going on with the big boys, I'd like to take out my clothespin and stick it on my nose and see if this is something like an effect you're inhaling. So I kind of clip it on and I kind of roll up my sleeve and like, I'm going in.
It's a great idea, but it's not as if it's a poison gas. It's not inhaling it that has the effect. It's simply.
Close my eyes.
It's by the time you had this idea, perhaps I'd already knew it. Closing the eyes seems like the worst way to resist a thing that puts you to sleep.
The Sandman.
Somehow.
The Sandman can't put his sand in your eyes if you got him closed.
Okay, that's a good thing. I do need a will save though.
I mean, 19 on the die, 27.
I mean, maybe it is breathing it in. You seem like you're
I think
perfectly
so.
okay.
I cracked it.
So the two of you Cammy walks up as MD's moving in, and you see her grubby little hands yank the crossbow bolt out of the side of the administrator.
I was going to get that for you.
Oh, what? No, that's okay. I appreciate it. Hey, look, check this out.
You figured it out?
Yeah.
It's breathing it in?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
You should hold your breath now.
Like a big breath right here in the cloud.
Before it's too late.
I'll try that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I move her body? That's the first real question. Can I pick her up and move her?
She is not glued to the floor or anything. You can pick her up. Her body is in a weird, almost state of rigor mortis. So when you go to pick her up, as she's kneeling on the ground, her back almost perfectly upright, her head tilted back, her arms down at her sides, her torso, her head, they don't move at all. Completely stock still. Her legs she's kneeling on do uncurl a little as you lift her, but she largely keeps the same pose.
Is that like Ratch in the previous area?
Similar to Ratch, yes. And MD gonna need the help. As a hero point comes
Aw.
in for you.
I need a lot of help.
From someone who just put God in all caps. God is handing you a hero point directly. Divine intervention has come
Which
for
one?
you.
Which one?
That's the question.
Well, I want to pick her. I want to move her out of the bloody pool because I don't want to do any work standing in a pool of blood.
That's fair. I imagine the entire front of Trey is still
It's like-
slicked in blood from where he's
Oh,
going
yeah.
in.
It's bad for workplace morale to be covered in blood.
So you move her up, perhaps over a little more out of the way towards the intern's desk, the other corner of the office. And as you move her away from the marble desk, everyone else is looking through to the western side of the room. Of course, the cloud follows along with her. This still slowly just rolling out of her mouth as she moves.
Can I follow and just, like, try to close her mouth?
Yeah. You, even
Yeah.
kneeling down, you're kind of reaching probably like up here.
Yeah.
She's
Not
kneeling
close
down.
her up. I'm like,
But you can put your hands over her mouth, and as you do, you see the bits of movement and the eddying in the air kind of stop. You strangely feel like no pressure on your hands, even though this has been putting out so much mist that it's continually keeping this effervescent cloud swirling. You don't feel any pushback of pressure from inside her. Like, you don't feel it mounting at all. It feels like nothing.
huh. I don't like feel it coming out. Have I stopped it, or is it like leaking out stuff?
As you cover her mouth, the cloud does start to thin out.
And next question: is she breathing?
Oh, I moved my hands down so her nose is good.
She does not appear to be breathing. You had checked her, and you could check her here.
Yeah.
Cammy,
I'll kinda put,
especially
like,
with
a-
being trained in medicine, is like checking a pulse is not a skill you could fail trained in medicine. I imagine she does still have
Let's hope not. I don't.
very weak pulse, but she's not breathing at all, and she has not reacted one bit to anything that has happened.
I think somebody needs to volunteer. We're gonna do CPR.
Okay, that's a good volunteer for you. First thing, let's I pull out a health potion, lock the thing, move your hands, and just shove it in her mouth.
As you do that,
Part 2 of just forcing liquid down this woman's mouth.
you have put that stack of things. Oh, right here. You have been rifling through the desk, and you've been looking through the calendar. and
Yeah, I want to see
journal up on
3
this.
days ago or 4 days ago.
You
see
found
what happened.
It's her
a
birthday.
couple things. You found a couple things in there, Trey, that seem like they're interesting. Though you might not know anything about magic yourself, you can definitely, just living in this world, identify what looks to be enchantments or magical scroll work. And you find a set of 3 magical scrolls. Handing them over to
Can I see?
EZ, I'm not sure you would immediately be able to identify any of them, but you would be able to take some time to use your magic to try to work out what they are. You would also find a trio of 3 other items that appear to be a little bit interesting. Of all the small little vials and flasks she has, a lot of them just appear to be smelling salts and perfumes, things that are not terribly useful to them.
Smelling salts are useful.
I mean, smelling salts, yeah, you can definitely take them. But there is another thing that seems to be a much more potent potion. It's clearly got an alchemical label on it, but the label, it looks like it's been here for a very long time, and the label has like smudged and worn away beyond legibility, so you can't tell immediately what it is. There are 2 other trinkets down there that seem to be relatively interesting that you get a sense, and you checking with Easy are able to identify are both magical. One of them giving off an aura of evocation, and the other of enchantment. Both of them appear to be 2 small talismans. One for armor, one for a weapon. But what they do, again, would take some time to identify.
With occultism and crafting, I'm trained in both. I probably just recognize talismans.
Give me a crafting check. We can have that be what you're doing while you're rifling through here. Sure. I'll just have you roll 1 for both, because they're different DCs, and if you beat both DCs, I'll just give them both to you.
Much better. 18.
18 would allow you to identify one of them. It would be a relatively common talisman. It is a bronze pendant in the shape of an ox's head that's, you're not sure how exactly it's found its way here, for what purpose. It seems like it would be more valuable given to an orderly than an administrator, but it is a bronze bowl pendant. The other one, actually, with the enchantment aura, seems to be a fair shake more potent, and 18 actually is not. Are you blessed?
Not anymore, I'm not.
With a blessed, then with a 19, you would also be able to identify the small octagonal or hexagonal black crystal with a little tiny steel ring on the top of it that is infused with an aura of emotionally controlling fear magic. It is a fear gem.
We just got a letter.
At that same time, my bard, would you
Yes.
like to make me on probably occultism, arcana, or religion check to try to identify the scrolls?
Yeah. Occultism, Arcana, or religion? I'll do occultism.
Figured that was probably the best, seeing as you are a bard.
Yeah. Okay. 8 plus 4 is 12.
They are magical scrolls. Magical scrolls.
You did
indeed.
it!
I did it. I'm focusing on the calendar.
That's what we needed to know, right?
Now, you would still be able. Oh, actually, no. You would. Well, okay, joke's on you. All 3 of these are actually occult spells, so you don't have to roll anything. So you're able to just identify what they are. I didn't have the cards from the
Even
occult deck. I
better.
thought it was. I pulled the cards out of our reference decks. I had 2 arcane and a divine, but all 3 of them are actually also on the occult list. So you just get all of them. Merry Christmas. Never punished for rolling badly.
I like
Oh,
these.
They're pretty cool.
Never punished.
So, while they're rooting through that, you 2 have been working to try to something with Lysandra.
Something.
You dump the healing potion down her mouth, and while the liquid does pour down her throat, am I getting deja vu? Did we try this already?
Holy water.
You've had holy water. I was like,
Yes.
I definitely described the liquid going past the mist coming out.
Yeah.
Same thing. Exactly the same situation, the same occurrence. You see it flow through. There's no way of telling if it had a well, it would be a way of telling if it had a direct effect. She has a crossbow wound in her side. And you could check that the skin would knot and stitch itself back together where Cammy had shot it with the crossbow. The potion works. There's no other visible effect.
Keeping her hydrated.
Well, at least she's not gonna remember that I shot her.
Does the
Wake
vial-
up. Excuse me.
First of all, rude.
Yeah.
Well, does the vial fill with mist? Okay, as if it's a potable.
The what?
The vial, does it fill with the mist? Because it's in her mouth and it's empty now. Can you? Is this potable?
Having a
Slightly
little
nice.
fun.
Yeah, you could, I
It-
suppose,
it's a
take
sleep
a
grenade.
take a small bottle of this mist. It's gonna be a very small amount because it's not particularly thick, and you could definitely flask some of it.
I-
It would be so thin in a flask that you would barely be able to see the color in it. But you could take a sample.
I'll try and do that. I'll kind of like put the bottle in her mouth and then kind of like close her mouth around it so that like if she was drinking or
like
something.
a sippy cup.
Yeah.
You would see again.
I don't feel great about
Just like you hadn't felt any pressure on your hand when you blocked your mouth entirely, you don't see the mist going into this empty bottle any thicker than if you would just kind of swiped it through the gas and sealed it off. It's not like filling and thickening inside. Whatever this effect is, though, there is literally a mist coming out of her mouth. It's clearly beyond just a true physical manifestation. This is not acting in a way that it should. There's more to it than the actual mist itself moving through the air and out of her body.
So,
Is there anything in the calendar about an appointment with missed people?
is it?
Is this,
I could like read her aura. I mean, that's about.
You would see, probably just looking through the entire calendar, there would only be 2 names that you would even recognize at all. The first of which would be she had earlier this month 2 different meetings with Count Hasserton Lowells, the current Count of Versailles County. The Winter was here investigating why he just wasn't doing count things. But what looks to be one day before everything happened, before the collapse, she had a one-on-one with Ulver Zandalis.
Whoa. Okay. Is that a usual thing? Administrators having one-on-one with patients? Based on
There would not be any others in her schedule. She is the administrator of the entire facility. She doesn't see patients. She's running things much higher level than that. Her other meetings are with other board members, with other heads of wings and departments, with people in Thrushmore, royals and nobles for funding, benefactors. The only patient meeting you see is the one with Zandalis.
All right, I'm about to try something crazy. Gammy, you're my safety net. I want to try walking out of the mist and walking back in to see if I can't get that same like sleep effect. And if it comes over me, I want to willingly fail the save.
If you can always just fail a save on purpose.
Yeah.
So like as long as you're aware of the effect, so you can just stop fighting it.
Yeah.
Because it takes a degree of a concentrated effort to resist it. If you let it, you will just slump again.
Yep. Gammy, if you get a bad feeling in your guts, slap me.
Why would I?
And I just fell the save.
Oh no!
He says then just
Standing up.
giant orc man just slumps again. And again, you feel this darkness come in and you just are standing in this black void. And you hear the voice. Brenton! Brenton! Where did you go, Brenton?
So I'm a bad note taker and I forgot to write down the brother's name.
Debus.
What is it?
Debus.
I call out his name.
And you don't hear an immediate response, but you do hear a flutter of what sounds like a piece of parchment down near your feet. And even through, you can't see your own hands, you can't see your feet. The area is completely black around you, but out of the darkness, you see this little sheet of paper flutter by.
I'm gonna reach for it.
It's an odd feeling, reaching down, not even being able to see your hand, but the paper just kind of comes up closer, and on it is a very simple little charcoal drawing. Big wide triangle, little square underneath it, the door, and a little window. Just like a child's drawing of a house. Brenton, I can't find the lantern. You hear another flutter of paper. Another one brushes over your feet. This one, a little tiny stick figure with a smiley face holding the hand of a larger stick figure with a shirt inscribed with a bunch of tiny flowers, holding a balloon, and effort put into some long hair. Big smiley face on her as well. You hear another piece of paper, another, and as you look down, these child's charcoal drawings start to blow in 1, 2, a dozen at a time, like a wave of these little paper sketches just blowing around your feet across the floor.
It's trippy. This is a weird dream. Can you hear me? I guess not. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Why am I the one here? I have no way. This is a bad idea. Actually, now if Kane doesn't wake me up, I'm just kind of stuck here.
You can make a will save.
I could make a will save. I'm not even thinking about that. I think I'm just like lost in thought at this point. Lantern.
He wakes up. We're all just gone.
Yeah.
It just leaves. Oh, well, we lost MD.
I'm gonna try to wake myself up from all this tomfoolery.
You have no pressure or anything, so like
Yeah.
it would just. I mean, you could just make the save, roll the save till you make it. So it's not really a plain rolling it. While he's out, Cammy, you're still there. What are you doing?
I think that I'm gonna try and administer CPR.
Okay.
I don't feel awesome about that, but I think, yeah, because I know that I'll be inhaling a lot of the mist, so I'm probably about to go to, but just to try and in an effort to try and resuscitate her after, like, you know, trying to shake her awake,
Right.
and, you know.
The medical approach of shaking someone
Yeah,
awake.
right. Try
And
anything
you-
except for what I know I probably
would-
have to try.
With some effort, tiny little gnome, given the fact that she again seems kind of stuck in this pose, get her over on her back where her knees are now still up, folded like she was in that position, her arms almost locked at her side, her head back. You can't, with some effort, you can force her head to be straight. It's not really rigor mortis. You can move it. It just takes a lot, it resists it very hard.
Like there's a position that she wants to be in.
But the body does not attempt to return to that once you've moved it. It's not like if you let go, her head's just going to go straight back again.
Oh.
It's just a very strange level of inertia keeping her in the pose she's in. You kneel down, and you try, you give it your best, regardless of the fact that doing this into the mist spigot may be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Make me a medicine check.
Okay. At least I thought it was gonna be the will save. Okay. 12 on the die, so 18.
The two of you that are over, Easy and Trey. Trey, in this little cabinet, you would have found another small little leather-bound book that appears to be just her day-to-day, I guess, diary, for lack of a better word, keeping track of her notations. Less on the business front, like her calendars and her appointments, and more just personal. Flipping through it, I imagine the same thing Easy wanted to do before, looking for something more recent. It's not hard
Especially
to
the one-on-one day.
to the one-on-one day, trying to find these last couple entries. I'll give you a couple of the last few entries around that, and you can get some information there. But as you flip over to that, you see Cammy across the room. Lay the administrator down, get her head in position, and bend over and start doing chest compressions, and then lean down and try to give her CPR. And as she does, as she puts her mouth on the administrator's and tries to breathe for her, you see MD just sort of slumped, sleeping. Cammy, full noodles.
Oh.
Just completely limp. She leans down, breathes once or twice into the administrator, and just ragdolls.
Oh,
across
there
her.
she
Just
goes.
looking over the desk at that,
Put a bookmark.
going
on this
right
page.
back down to what I was doing.
We got this. We're good, folks.
They're both unconscious in the mist at this point.
Worth a try.
We're team. You don't know if you don't try.
I'm just gonna. Also, not wanting to go from the book, I'm just gonna mage hand slap.
Mage hand. It's not so much a slap with mage hand. It's just kind of like a light pat, I suppose. That helps MD to wake up. But as you reach
And then it
down,
just points.
yeah, just oh, it just points at Cammy.
Yeah.
He's asleep in full like lip lock, just. Because that's when you pass
You
out.
wake up and Lysandro's on the ground, and she literally did pass out in the middle of breathing in there.
Yep.
It looks like she is face to face.
I pick up Cammy and move her away from the body. What? You're supposed to. You're
You
bad
pick
at-
her up and kind of bundle her out of this cloud here. She does not wake up when you pick her up.
Great. I slap her really
Kiss of
hard.
death.
Just
I'll probably do it.
Okay.
Big slap. You lean down to breathe in the administrator's mouth. You tried a couple times, you breathe, and you turn back to reach to give a couple of chest compressions, and you're not getting any response. You look back over to her, and you look up to where MD is, and you are not in the administrator's office anymore. You are in what appears to be a plaza. It is a huge plaza, a massive, empty park. There's no grass, there's no trees, just a stone, flat area. Around it are buildings, probably, but they're not built in ways that make any sense. They're nothing. It's not just out of fashion. It's not just from an older civilization. This is like nothing mankind has ever constructed. The base shape is not squares. You're seeing buildings expanding outward from their base, coming back in strange pentagonal shapes from their base, connected together by little almost skyways, bridges of raised tubing, all carved with strange black stone. And not far from you, on one edge of the plaza, is a massive, gigantic pyramid, soaring up into a blank white sky. You suddenly realize you are freezing cold. This place is frigid, like the poles of Galarian, if not colder. Cold enough that you're pretty sure you won't even be able to survive here for more than a couple of minutes. But as you see this, you feel, and you wake up back in the office.
Oh my. Oh.
You okay there?
No. I'm kind of not.
She's got a big old visible handprint on the side of her face.
I didn't hold back.
I need MD and Cammy to make me stress check.
Ah.
16.
You're okay.
I want to go swim in the mist now.
14.
You're okay.
Unperturbed. You want to hit me back? Will it make you feel better?
Not when you're saying it like not if you want me to. I'm not gonna. No.
Exactly. You feel better.
No. Don't patronize me right now. Okay.
I asked you to keep an eye on me in case something bad happened and you just go to sleep.
No, I was administering CPR. One of us had to do it.
I woke up and you were asleep. Locked lips.
That's called CPR.
Okay. That's called CPR. Hey, Trey, do you know that's what's called CPR?
It's because she was seepy.
Ah.
I don't understand this bit.
Anyways, I think I found the missing brother.
Well, I found the pyramids,
So
but this time cold.
we'll put a pin on that for when it's relevant. Very good, Cammy. You did a good job.
I'm not talking to you anymore. What
Easy.
is this weird energy?
It's clear to you that they're fine for the moment, and you look back at this journal. If you wanted an entry from the date of the appointment with Xandalis, unfortunately, there isn't one. That wheel day would have been the day after the last entry in this journal. It would have gone right up to the day before, and then the rest of the book would, of course, be blank. I'll give you the entry before, and then you, if you want, we can keep going back until you're satisfied with yourself.
Oh, definitely taking the book.
What? Yeah, you
Let
have
me
the book.
read.
You obviously can take it with you. You can look at it
Yeah.
later. But the entry right before that meeting, Toil Day. The chain of nights is a marvel. It will take years of study to unravel all of its possibilities, but already I've discovered a process by which chronic dreams might be drawn forth and disposed of like so much psychic gristle. Tomorrow, our experiment begins.
Hey, everybody, they planned this. It's an inside job. The whole thing. I don't know if we should bring her back. She sounds like a not good person.
What?
I don't know. She wanted to use dreams for some nefarious purpose.
I mean, if we bring her back, she probably has an idea how to stop it.
Or she'll just start it again.
Well,
It's
okay.
already started.
But to be like 100 with you right now, we don't even know how to or if we can bring her back. So
This is probably something for Winter.
Do you want to bring Winter here?
No,
Well, if
I
it's
want to leave her here and deal with it later.
It could get worse.
You want to go back in entry?
Back.
The moon day before. Laos has made me an offer. His copy of the Chain of Nights. All I must do in return is accept a handful of new patients. Former associates of his that have suffered some unprecedented manner of group amnesia. I might accept this as charity on the Count's behalf, but he insists that I keep no record of their committal. Their terms make me suspicious, but I can learn more of these curious strangers once they're in my care. If it means the possibility of a cure for Xandalis and others, I welcome the bargain.
Sounds like us.
Yeah, it's us.
no, I did.
A Chain of Night, is that a book?
Sounds like a copy of.
A copy of a book. Did you find a book that isn't a journal?
No.
It's never easy. What's upstairs?
Upstairs would be an area much akin to a lounge, a personal resting place for the administrator. The furniture up here would be comfortable, overstuffed chairs, wide tables and nooks for reading, and a litany of bookshelves, a personal collection. A lot of what is up here is still medical and psychological related. Of course, you don't become the administrator of Briarstone Asylum without having some interest in psychology and treatment. But a lot of it is entirely unrelated to the asylum's running.
Hey, Cammy, you want to come read some books with me?
Huh?
Want to come read some books with me?
Oh.
Do you want to
Oh,
go back
okay.
another entry?
One more.
The star day before. So this entry would have been 2 days prior. There is no entry for the Sunday just before that last one. 2 days prior, Lao's solution was not at all what I expected. I had no clue where he turned it up, but on his most recent visit, he brought along a copy of Valhadis's The Chain of Nights, a near legendary collection of psycho-arcane studies and treatments focused on dreaming. While I abhor arcane tampering, if there's a permanent solution to Xandalis' nightmares, it could be here. Laos allowed me to study the text for the duration of his visit, but staunchly refused to leave it in my possession.
What was the name of the person again?
The author?
The one who lent her the book.
Lowells.
Lowells.
It's the same guy that we've established as the Count of the area.
Lowells, Count.
The one that Winter's looking at.
Yes.
The very same.
Thickets, like mist.
Like mist.
I have a separate journal. I'm writing that.
That's good. That's good.
One more day.
One more? There is again not an entry for the fire day before, but one oath day prior, almost a week before the most recent one. Another unexpected call from Count Lowells. These have become so common and Lowell's focus is so singular they no longer leave me apprehensive. He requested to see me after his visit with Xandalis, though. He claims to have a theoretical solution for the poor man's condition. I don't know what the Count and my prized patient have been discussing, and Lowells again refuses to share, but I doubt that lordly amateur psychologist is truly hit upon anything of worth. Regardless, I'd be a fool not to humor my liege. If you continue looking back further, this particular thread seems to end there. But you would see more notations, more mentions, with decreasing frequency the further you go back, of Count Lowell's, Hasserton Lowell's, the current ruler of Versex County, the one that Winter came here investigating with the royal accusers. After going back a month, 2 months, the name has all but disappeared entirely.
So, did the journal say that we were associates of who, of Zan?
The count, I
Of
think,
the
asked
Count?
for us to be.
Well, it said that there's a group of amnesiacs, assumedly us. Didn't specify.
How many group of amnesiacs do you know wander around Galarium?
I forgot.
As same.
Well, but if
We're a
It's-
cure. Sandalus's
if
condition.
we were already amnesiacs before we forgot that we were amnesiacs,
Okay.
Double.
are we gonna like do it again?
Can you lose more than?
You know what? Like they're like we were
I don't wanna lose-
established amnesiacs, but we don't remember.
The last
Remember
like 42 hours of my life are the most memorable hours I've had, so I don't
Well,
want to
that's
lose
what
those
they
two.
want you to think.
Cammy, make me a medicine check.
That's not how amnesia works. That's how amnesia works.
Hero
I'll be
point.
right with you.
Point.
That is a 9 on the die, so 15.
For the 15, I'm going to give you a personal story from the life of AJ, not the GM here. Once upon a time, I got in a pretty bad car accident, and I was in the hospital for over a week. And during that time, obviously all I can go off is secondhand stories because I don't remember any of it. I don't remember like the month leading up to my car accident. That got straight knocked out of my brain. But apparently what kept happening was I was fortunately very entirely physically fine, not even like cuts and bruises. It was just a pretty bad concussion, otherwise all right. I didn't know where I was. I could barely talk. I didn't remember being in a car accident. And while I was in the hospital, every couple of hours, my face would go blank, and I would look at whoever was with me and go, "Where am I?" I didn't know I was in the hospital. I forgot about the car accident. I forgot about everything that happened the last couple of hours of the last day. That kept happening for like a week. And I had to keep explaining to me over and over again where I was and why I was there. That is very much a thing that can absolutely happen.
But we had amnesia before the place collapsed. Is what this is saying too.
The collapse would have been the night, or basically the morning after this appointment with Zandalus, which looks like it was fairly late in the evening. And this last entry would have been the day before that. So all of this is from pre-collapse.
So it stands to reason that we could just lose it all again.
Well, I've been writing stuff down, so we should be good.
That's good.
Wrote down all our names, so we'll remember that. At least our second names.
Or our third names.
It also says it's group amnesia, which seems like not a
Well, we just have a
typical term. Like
strong-
not just like a group of amnesiacs. It's a group amnesia,
Mm.
right?
The wording itself is unprecedented, some unprecedented manner of group amnesia.
Mm.
All right.
Unprecedented to the administrator of probably the greatest mental facility in the world.
I really want to wake her up and get some
Very unique
answers, and
case.
that's a very hard thing to do.
Well, you can go CPR with her.
You know what? I have no CPR knowledge.
We could take her all the way back to Winter.
I don't think that we can take her back to the chapel while she's spewing all this stuff.
You moved her over there.
I mean, we could take her back
Well,
to the
I mean-
chapel, but we'd have to get the people away from her.
The
Not
mist.
to the chapel. Just that entry room.
Fair. Well,
Something close for Winter.
cool. I guess we'll do that.
Just throw her in the middle of the chapel like, hey guys.
I mean, I would love to personally. Personally, I think that the sleep we've gotten in the chapel is the best sleep we've ever had. So I would personally love to get her in the chapel. Divine powers and whatnot. Who knows?
There is also one room we haven't looked at in here. The one that's south.
The extra door.
southeastern door.
I am not in physical condition to be opening doors.
Oh,
How
Trey.
are you all looking?
Terrible.
Mostly fine.
I look
Pretty good.
fine.
That's true. I mean, I guess you look okay, but like you'd still. I mean, lethal damage is enough that even though they were doing straight mental damage, if you
Probably
would
have,
still
like, a
look.
nosebleed.
Yeah. However that manifests is up to you, but you would be like visibly still as injured as if you were,
It's what you look
stabbed.
like at midnight after working a 14-hour shift.
Yeah.
But Trey's not looking good. Trey's looking real rough.
Yeah, I'm carrying her back to the entry chamber.
Okay.
Yep.
You, I'll forego will check number 27. Just let
At
you.
this point, I still myself for it.
Yeah, to let you. You've been in and out enough times. You think you're kind of okay. But the rest of you, I imagine, probably give a pretty wide berth to MD as he carries Lissandro's form out of the office, through the hall, into the library.
See her rattling
Yeah.
balls from the
You make your way through the library again into the southern end, opening the door back into the entryway. And whoever is in front, getting the door for MD here, Trey, I would just imagine, would be the first to see that there is a figure standing in the center of this room, right by the desk. Their back turned towards you, but they're standing upright. A figure tall. As tall as MD even, but lean. Wrapped in yellow, tattered strips of cloth. Razor hand.
Just closing the
See
door.
it? You immediately close the door and turn around to the group.
We're gonna have to wait a minute.
What if it puts him to sleep too?
You want to throw her at him?
I can't throw her. But
I'm not throwing her. Staying like 15 feet back from the group.
Well, I could, but I don't think that we should throw her.
You hear a slam on the doors right next to you. And then a scraping of metal across wood.
We've already dealt with you enough.
Tattered man, no
Maybe you could
tattered.
just feed the mist under the door real quick.
we do have this small vial.
Well, I'm gonna turn around and start walking back.
You start moving back to the library. Still carrying Lissandro?
I'm still carrying this. I'm not. Guys, come on. Let's just go.
Okay,
And
I start
we're
booking.
walking away.
As you move away,
from
just
this.
as you leave the southern end and start to work around the big bookshelf that's right in front of that door, you hear a splintering of wood as the doors are blasted open. You hear a heavy slam as one of the doors crumples against the backside of the bookshelf you just walked away from. And you hear that same rattling, hissing voice.
I killed you. We are bound.
He is out of view, but his voice comes around the bookshelf at the southern end of the room. What do you do?
As I'm walking away, I boomed out. Oh, apparently you didn't kill us because I'm still breathing. I'm just booking it.
Oh, which room are we in?
You're in the
at this
library right now.
Or
The
in the
grand
library.
library where the rattlings were.
point?
There are plenty of shelves, strange nooks, little holes and nests the rattlings have dug. Plenty of tiny places that you could fit. There are the tables and chairs, the furniture in the middle of the room. MD is sprinting towards the door back to administration.
I'm gonna go farther. Yeah.
Yeah,
Administration.
probably going towards administration and then dipping left down the small hallway towards that like meeting room where the
All right.
pickled punks were.
As Trey cuts over towards the meeting chamber, you all following him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
That way's a
so.
dead end, though.
Yeah.
But it's out of the way.
I keep going towards administration.
Not if he comes
I'm-
this way.
I'm
Actually,
leaving
Trey and MD split. Trey heads towards the meeting chamber. MD back into administrator's office.
Yeah, I'm
Still carrying Administrator Lissandro.
following Lissandro.
Yeah, I'm going to the
I don't-
administrators.
You head into the meeting chamber as everyone splits, and Trey, you hear silence for a few moments. Do you bother? You're the same. You slam this door behind you. as
Yeah,
you come out of the
library.
hallway. Yeah, you
Slam
would-
that door.
You would hear the door to the library again after some moments open, creaking out on its hinges. then footsteps in the stone hallway. The three of you get into the office, shutting the door behind you. What do you do?
Cammy, get underneath the marble desk and be very quiet. Easy. I don't know where you can hide. I'm going up the stairs with Lysandra in my hand still. And I'm putting her up there, and I'm going to prepare myself to jump down on him when he comes through the door. Scared out of my mind.
Easy, Cammy.
We each had a healing elixir, right?
Well, I have one.
I have one.
Yeah,
I have
got a syringe.
Yeah.
Yes, I have one.
Well, I'm going to drink mine because I'm fairly certain we all had one. Oh,
Yep.
You're like low health and alone.
Yeah.
Still good.
That's scary.
Cammy, what do you do?
I'll hide under the desk, I guess.
Scramble to the marble desk. Easy.
I'm gonna that door we haven't looked through. I'm just gonna.
You run over to it and try the handle. The door is locked. Trey has the keys.
Oh no.
the D6s or D8s? I don't have the card.
What?
The potions,
If they're potions,
it's whatever the card is, yeah.
yeah, D8.
Okay, then I'm gonna go upstairs.
You and MD both hurry up the metal stairs as you hear the doorknob to the office turn. Surprisingly kind of gently before the door flies open, slamming back into the wall, smashing against a framed landscape she has right inside. Again, you see the Tatterman step through as the two of you reach this landing, up top, just out of his sight. Can you make me a stealth check?
Ooh, it's a 5.
Is the total?
Yes.
So,
Jeez.
hearing that door slam open, that's when I get to do my thing and winner take off.
You run back towards the camp.
I'm getting help.
Yeah, you immediately shoot through the hallway. You see him stepping into the office, and you go through the open door he left through the library, sprinting back towards the camp. You are curled up under the desk. It's a huge marble desk. It's got like 2 big legs set on the ground, so you're not really fully enclosed here. You're pretty much just hiding behind what is functionally a pillar that's not really angled against the door. You're doing your best. You know it's not great. You two know it's not great. She's pretty clear and visible. What are you two doing?
If he looked like moving towards her, like
He steps in and looks around the room, and his eyes turn immediately to the desk and to Cammy.
just to be clear, this is a landing above. Like there's a way to
Yes.
directly down, right?
Yes, it is. It's like a big L-shaped lock.
That's
so
what
there's
I thought.
It's definitely like a ledge
I'm
you can just drop down. It's
make-
probably like 10, 12 feet
I'm
up.
jumping down on top of him. As soon as I see him lock eyes with Cammy, just
You taking
down on top of
Lysandra
him.
with you, or do you
I
go
dropped
first?
her. I left her upstairs. She's there, and I'm jumping down.
You jump off onto the tattered man. Make me. I will give you. Make an acrobatics check. We're plunging.
This God has spoken.
God is
Whatever
here.
God has given me in this
Hopefully
role.
God is here.
Better. 19 total.
With a 19 total. As you come down, leaping over, you see him turn his head from the desk up towards you. And as you fall, what is your plan? Do you have your
No plan.
just
No plan.
plan.
It is just me. As I jump down, me first.
He reaches out with the razor and just slashes up towards you. You adding all of your momentum into this blade as it rips across you, and you see MD crash into the ground in a crumpled heap. He's not moving. He turns his face back towards Cammy. Takes a step. What do you do?
I'm gonna run.
Easy, Cammy.
I'm gonna run.
Run where? You're by the stairs. You can go up.
I guess I'll go up. No, actually, I'm gonna go out the exit, out from where we came.
He's right in front of that doorway. He's between. You had to get around him. You can,
Can
you
I
try to run
peek him?
past him. You run towards him. Make me. I'll give you acrobatics or deception. You can try to like physically duck around him or try to like fake him out.
Freak them out. Is there anywhere to go upstairs?
Not really.
Okay.
Easy. What are you doing?
I'm gonna throw Lysandra at him. I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna throw her. I'm just gonna throw her over the balcony edge.
You
Would that help me?
I
drop
don't know.
Lysandro down.
I don't know.
What's your total?
That's gonna be a 6 total. But do I get help? There's a body flying.
He
now.
looks towards you, and you go to juke around, and he just, you can't see his eyes. The entire top of his head is bound in these rags. But his face tracks you, and the razor comes up, and then you see him look up, and this body crash down onto the ground next to him, on top of MD.
And he gets sleepy.
He looks, he turns away from Cammy. And you dart out the door.
Hear it. Gone.
Gone. And Easy, the last one left to see this, would see him reach out with his free hand and just grab Lissandro by the hair and pick her up and just look at her.
This is the only anchor.
And just whip his razor across her neck and drop her on the ground. He looks up. Easy.
And I'm gonna throw a book at him with,
Yeah,
with projectile.
Maybe a spell attack roll.
Heads up. 15 plus 8 is 23.
Just barely.
Yes.
23. As this book flies down, shot by your magic, catches him, hits him. He does stumble a little bit. Give me damage.
3 plus 4, 7.
You see the book crack him. You see him recoil. And you see a bit of blood. It was in the rags. He looks at you and looks down and just pulls away a bit of this limp, tepid cloth he has over. You can see where the book kind of punched into him. Bruised around, punched through his skin. And even from up above him, you can see his skin pull itself right back together.
Okay.
He takes a step towards the staircase.
Okay. How high up is this staircase?
You're about probably like 10 feet up.
Okay, I'm gonna go all the way to the end of this, so that as he goes up, I can just drop down. Yeah,
Running
I'm
around
gonna
the
play
road.
this game. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
As he
Like
heads
daylight
over,
tactics.
you get ready to jump. You feel another one of those tremors rack through the building. The quakes that you would have experienced several times throughout, even resting in the camp through these times we kind of maybe been awoken by even.
Yeah, he's scared of these.
Still been pretty consistent. He lays a foot on the stairs. You go to move yourself, and again, he whips his gaze to the right, almost straight to the east. He grits his teeth as if he's angry. And disappears. Trey, Cammy, bolting back to the library. Trey would, of course, with a pretty sizable lead here, get back into the camp first, and then Cammy would arrive a brief moment later.
Everyone's dead.
Charnel. You come through. You're looking for Winter, I assume. You're
Yeah.
blowing past Danae.
You're covered in blood.
You're literally covered in
Screaming for
blood.
Winter.
Literally going straight to Winter. Ragman, need help.
Blast in the door to the chapel. Yeah, literally, you fell face first in a pool of blood, completely soaked.
Don't worry, it's not mine.
And everyone in the chapel is like freezes in terror, looking at you. The only one who immediately approaches are, of course, Winter and Boston. Both of them concerned. And as you quickly explain, Boston doesn't know what to say. Winter eyes are just terrified. The Cammy comes blowing through the door behind you.
So, they got, excuse me, MD is, hold on, I gotta go, actually, I'm gonna go back, after the tremor to try and, see if he disappeared like last
MD.
time, and to try and heal MD.
I need a stress check.
Oh.
17.
You gain 3 stress. Would have been 5 if you failed.
See? Can I go back?
Hold on. I'm right here.
Yeah. Oh, I should have just.
But after
Hmm.
a few moments easy, as you come down the stairs,
Yeah.
empty, motionless, he starts to come to. There is strangely no physical injury that you can see. You saw the blade slice through him. You saw, well, you thought you saw blood fly. He is physically completely okay. But you, as he cuts you, again experience the same dream as when you had first awoken in the asylum.
When or after?
When his blade connects and you hit the ground, you feel that pain. And you look up to that hazy yellow sky and that big moon overhead, the Tatterman there looming over you. Still that razor in his hand, your blood coating the blade.
I've killed you before. How do you persist? What makes you different?
I don't remember. I wish I could tell you. I wish you would stop killing me. You could stop. Please.
He turns. He looks up towards the moon, perched right atop that tower, as if they were one.
He will know. She will understand. We need not.
Do we have names? So man, I'm grasping at straws here. I don't know what to do. I'm terrified.
The Yellow King
Yellow King.
will know all. You know his name.
What's his name? Remind me.
A grin splits his face, his teeth pointed, rotten in his mouth.
You don't know it in your mind. You know it in your very being.
Oh.
Is that how you persist? His seed.
Sure. Listen, man, don't smile. You're creeping me out.
It doesn't.
It does matter a lot.
Raises up his razor and brings it down. That's when you wake up again on the floor of this office. It reveals to you.
Welcome to 7 Stress.
You good?
You feel as if days or weeks even have passed, as if you are at the brink of exhaustion, like you haven't slept in ages, like you walked from whatever this place was that you saw unceasing back here through the fog without a moment of respite.
Is Sandra's body still on top of me?
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I had to create a
Clearly-
distraction.
Clearly slashed through.
Her neck is near severed. This razor didn't just slit across her throat, it slashed back to the spine.
No.
I had to save Cammy.
The mist pouring out from her mouth has stopped.
He said that she was like an anchor of some sort.
And
Back at the camp, Cam, as you rush in, Winter comes to follow with Trey. York quickly readying his bow, taking a position outside the door as Nasa rushes over to see what's going on. He puts up a hand, just instructs her to keep everyone calm, steps outside, and shuts the door behind him. Waiting, staring at the door where the Argus Eye once was, as the three of you hurry back towards the administrator's office. About that point there, the door would burst open again. You would see Trey, Cammy, and Winter all rush in to Administrator Lysandra's office. Winter's eyes racing across the scene. No idea what she's seeing here. Taking in everything. A huge pool of blood. The last bits of this mist swirling through the air. Lysandra's body, MD, EZ kneeling over the pair
I
of
could
them.
explain.
And you. And her hand just flies up to her pendant. And she looks down and closes her eyes. May it rest, may it end. May I remove the body, so may move the soul. And a wave of energy pours out of her. Any of you that are injured are going to heal for 13. As her incantation, this positive energy, this healing essence, pushes through the room. And she stays just silent. Her brow furrowed, her eyes screwed shut. Not closed in peace, but closed in as if she doesn't want to open them again. I look at what this is.
I take it the tremors made him leave again.
I'm gonna find something to wrap her neck in.
I think it's a little late for that.
I don't say this. I'm just doing it. I'm not. MD's not speaking at all right now. He's just like muttering to himself, like trying to get everything back together the way it's supposed to be.
There are some cloths draped across some of the chairs here that you could take a piece of, or a whole one of. There's a jacket, a pair of them actually on a stand near the far door that look to be hers. We've got things you could choose from.
As I'm doing that, I was looking and I see Cammy.
Yeah.
Is she alive? Can you say?
No, she's.
Yeah, it's not going to be a medicine check.
No, she's definitely gone.
Cammy's alive.
Yeah. And you're
Good.
okay,
Good.
which is incredible.
I've died 2 more times.
You look like you haven't seen sleep in days, if not weeks.
Not important.
No, part of our jobs at the Priory, part of what we did we took petitioners into the scriptorium to treat them, to do what we could with our magics. We had no proper asylum, nothing like Briarstone near Califas. And what there was, many couldn't afford. I've seen that look. That's... That the look in your eye is a man near the edge.
It's not important.
MD.
He's gonna glare.
You have to hold on to yourself. I don't know what happened here. Trey was only able to tell me briefly. We hurried here as quickly as we could, but we don't need to lose anymore. Now, tell me what happened here. And as you explain to Winter what you saw, let us take our midstream break. I told you some things were going to happen today. I told you it was going to be a bit of an adventure.
I told you the side room was fine. I wasn't even in danger.
This is,
Promising.
well, it looked like it was coming together. It looked like we'd seen the worst for a moment, but here we are. Back nearing the brink. Had you failed that sanity check, you would be here.
To be honest, I'm the best one for it to happen to.
No,
Fail
I'm
or
the
pass.
best one.
So it
Ignoring
could
that.
have been worse. We're going to stand up, stretch our legs, take a moment, center ourselves, perhaps. Give Colby a second to breathe.
A lot.
Our break's going to be about 10 minutes, everyone. So you need no incredible hurry. Use the bathroom, grab some snacks. This campaign is a lot. It is really what I love the most about it, but also what makes it the most difficult to run for me. It is a very emotional adventure. We're going to run some ads during this. We have to as part of streaming here on Twitch, and the more we run during the break, the less we'll run during the show. So any of you that do hang out, we appreciate you putting up with those. We'll be back again in about 10. Don't go too far, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. As we left off, well, the Tattered Man appeared again. We survived, this time less unscathed than usual. MD was caught, taken to this strange realm that you've seen in your dreams, and briefly spoke with this figure before awakening truly shaken, feeling like your connection to your mind, your very sanity, is at risk. Yes. Everybody in the party currently at 6 or 7 stress. And now we know the stakes of these Tatterman encounters. 3 stress on a success, 5 on a failure.
You know I'm gonna have to run straight at him the next time he's here and purposely fail whatever check.
So, I said I was going to race him, and I gave him a head start.
As we left off, Winter had joined you in the administrator's office, where Lysandro now is well and truly dead, her head nearly severed by the Tatterman's razor. You explained again, I assume none of you have any reason to hold anything back. Explain what it is that you had found to her. She listens. You wrap this cloth around Lysandro's neck.
I don't say anything about my interaction with the Tattered Man. Not yet.
Okay. And Winter, as she listened, would join and kneel beside you and her as she gave final rites, funeral prayers of the administrator's body. After hearing everything, you'd rise, the group of you still there in the office, and turn towards Easy. Well, I suppose I have a confession to make of the group of you then, now that I'm certain in my theory. You are the ones Accuser Amari sent me into Briarstone Asylum to find. I'm almost certain of it.
I thought you were
Mission accomplished.
I thought you were sent to find the county.
I was sent seeking information of the Count, and looking into a group of patients he had recently had committed. With what you found in Administrator Lysandro's journal, there's little doubt it's the group of you.
What were you supposed to do when you found us?
As I said, I don't know. I haven't kept much from you by intent. The accuser's investigations were high level. I'm here in the capacity of the Church of Pharasma, representing my priory and its mother, to aid her in the ways that we can. She sought an interview with the group of you to see what you knew, what you would remember of the Count's past dealings, but of course, it seems that will be very little. A dead end, as it were.
You were sent to a group of amnesiacs to see what they
We
remember
didn't know
about something?
We didn't know your state. There were no formal records we could find of you. In fact, I don't even know your names when you arrived. The administrator was very resistant in allowing me to meet you. The reason I was here with my retinue when the collapse happened is because I was hoping to petition her directly, to meet her face to face, to attempt to use the... She takes her hand off of her necklace and just touches the little silver badge that she has on the side of her cloak. hoping to use the name of the accusers to force her to finally arrange a meeting with a group of you.
You mentioned files. Would there be any in this room?
Well, if there were none in the drawer that you looked through, then she didn't keep them here. The records room should be on the other side of administration, just through that door. That hall is where near everything is kept. If there was any information, you may be able to find it there.
While we're talking,
Which
I'm gonna
door?
go
Yeah,
to that
good,
door.
yeah.
Yeah, you have the with the ring of keys now. One of them would fit into the other door in Lysandro's office, revealing on the other side of it a hallway that leads again straight out to the east, punctuated by a few doors on either side and one at its terminus. The hallway maybe 40, 50 feet long. The administration wing held the offices of the higher-ups throughout the asylum, as well as all the paperwork. One of these should be the records room.
Looks like we're gonna be busy.
Do you know
I'll-
anything?
I'm sorry.
You know anything about the Chain of Knights? Does that ring a bell?
It's unfamiliar to me.
Okay.
It's not a name I've heard before, but that seems like it may be the very heart of what has happened here. If you could find that as well, that may give us some answers, some way to fix this, at least an understanding of what happened and how it could be reversed. In any case, as grim as the situation may be, this is incredible headway. I had hoped perhaps for answers from Administrator Lysandro, first when I arrived here seeking, well, what I'm sure now is you, and then hoping she may know something of the state of the asylum, and while she may no longer be with us to tell us the words, her journal has done well enough. I should be able to bear her back to the chapel to inter her with the rest, finish her rites, and ensure that she passes as well to the River of Souls as she can. I don't know what other aid I can offer.
On your... Do me a favor and pass the message to Tolman. I found the brother.
You found what brother?
The brother of the boy. With the
Brent?
lantern. Mm-hmm.
You found Demis.
I think so.
Well,
It's... I'm gonna sound out of my mind. There's, I think, a place between all of this. Pitch black, but he's crying out. I could reach it when I fell asleep near the administrator. He's lost and scared. But it wasn't anyone I've ever heard before. It's not a voice I recognized.
suppose I allowed my hopes to rise too quickly.
Oh. But if he's still alive and trapped somewhere, that means he can still be saved.
I think this is news best kept between us for now. I wouldn't want to give Branson any false hope.
Don't tell Brenton. Tell Tolman.
I wouldn't want to give him
I
any
need
either.
to know the significance of that lantern. Does he know it?
The shadow lantern he carries.
Yes.
It, as far as I can tell, doesn't appear magical in any way. It's just a paper lantern.
It's important.
Well, Brenton seems to think so. He's never separated from the thing.
And I think so too.
I'll ask. I'll see what Tolman knows, and I'll let you know when you return to camp. Be safe, please, all of you. You're closer than I dared believe hope. We might be able to come to ending all of this. Possibly reversing it, even, if this chain of knights is anything of any real power.
So we will know soon.
I'll speak to you this evening, then. All of you, this evening, safe and alive and whole. We shall kneel down and, with some effort, pick the administrator and now wrapped somewhat in what you could find up and start to bear her out of the office. Leaving the group of you again alone here. The hallway the eastern door connects to leads through several passages. About 20 feet down, there is a pair of doors, one on either side, and another 20 feet further, another pair. Just beyond that is a final door at the end of this hall. Which of these may connect to the records room? Well, require fine guess, I suppose, or thorough examination.
Always go left.
What are you all doing as you head into this hall?
Seeking.
Keeping your eyes out,
Or
looking for
scouting.
anything of interest. Keeping your eyes out, looking for anything murdery of interest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be in the back of the pack seeking.
All right.
Also, yeah, just looking at what rooms might be record room for nameplates.
Fortunately, you guys are in a medical facility. The rooms are labeled.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You don't have to just guess. They have simple brass labels next to each door. Cammy, what are you doing?
I think I'll be taking a little bit of a closer look, looking for clues. I'll be investigating.
Okay,
And at some point, I would have liked to have affixed another
sure,
task.
you would certainly have had time. You would have come to the first pair of doors. The door on your left, personal effects storage. The door on your right, records room. There it is.
Records. I open it.
Hey, you know, I like this door appearance.
You open the doorway into a large but fairly cramped space. The handles of dozens of drawers frowning from the faces of numerous matching cabinets lining near every wall of this chamber. Many of the drawers are open, and their contents would appear to be volumes upon volumes of parchment scattered across the tops of these and throughout the floor. As you open the door, there are a pair of figures in here. One of them to your right at the far end of the chamber, rustling and rooting through the drawers, very loudly, clattering of metal of the drawers in their case. The other sat just in front of where the door opens. Their back to you, sitting cross-legged on the ground, with an assortment of what appear to be small, handmade dolls, just sort of laid out in front of them in a semicircle. Both of these figures are, well, not terribly well off. They're both thin-framed, looking malnourished,
Robed in yellow.
robed in these painted yellow things. The one in front of you has her hair pulled up into a big bun with just two fat streaks of this yellow paint smeared through her hair. She's bent over, talking to this assortment of dolls in front of her. The other man at the far side of the room, rooting through, has a huge handprint, the palm of a hand of this yellow paint on the front of his forehead. Through the noise of their activities, they do not hear the door open behind them.
Well, said door opening, I'm going to just hold up a hand, because if they're not immediately, like, doing anything, I'm just going to hold up a hand, two fingers, and point in front of me, and just step up behind the one with my sword at the ready, and let everybody kind of come in behind me. Not making any obvious, like, aggressive motions, because
I'm gonna switch to sneaking.
All right.
I don't know what to do with this.
If you want to come into the room, your exploration activity needs to be sneaking, as you if you're trying not to alert them, because coming in that close, you got to be sneaky beaky.
I'm switching to sneaking.
What are you doing, Trey?
I'm going to sneak.
You don't have to roll it right now. It's
I
just
want
your activity. We'll roll in a second. What are the rest of you doing? Are you switching to sneaking, or are you staying outside?
I think Cammy will slowly kind of grab her crossbow and quietly load it and kind of back up against the wall next to the door,
So,
ready to like turn.
can you explain to me what the follow the expert? is?
Follow the expert
We've never
requires
done
someone to be an expert. You're an expert in stealth. You're a rogue.
Hi.
I didn't think you would have expert yet. Is that automatic or did you pick that?
I picked that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you've just subverted my expectations. Fair enough. I didn't think anyone had expert sneak. That's a
I
great
did too.
opportunity to introduce it then.
I did to you as you did to me.
Yeah, so yeah, you subverted my expectations. There is an exploration activity called Follow the Expert, which is basically taking the lead of someone who is way better at something than you are. MD is apparently an expert in stealth. I didn't realize that. I've just kind of assumed you weren't. And seeing what he does, seeing how he moves, seeing the precautions he takes, would be better than you just doing what you think is sneaky and just cronking it up. How this works is if you are untrained in stealth, but you first of all, Follow the Expert is doing whatever he is doing, so it is sneaking. If you are untrained in stealth, you add your level like you were trained. So your stealth is going to be 2 higher if you're completely untrained. And then everybody gets a +2 from his guidance, whether or not you're untrained. So if you are already trained in stealth, you're going to get a total +2 from his guidance. If you're completely untrained, you're going to get a +4. 2 from your level and 2 from MD's assistance. So anyone who wants to sneak should be probably following the expert here.
Following the fighter, the rogue in the back sneaking.
Are we trying to fight them, or are we going to talk? What if we pretend? If we pretend to also follow Xandos?
Go for it. I'll be right here to help you.
Okay, yeah, I'll just.
Well,
I'll,
no, because are they Xandalus followers in there? I haven't.
yeah, the yellow ones, they always say Xandos sees. They say praise.
Oh, wait, okay, can we? Should we want to kill them yet? Then.
I'm going to sneak into the room.
If you want to
Oh,
sneak,
he's
I can
good.
go, and then you can sneak if I get attacked.
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna come out and just I'm gonna have that charcoal drawing of the thing, and I'm gonna be like, Xandalus sees, praise.
You
Hello,
step
fellow
in,
Xandalus members.
and immediately the figure on the ground like startles. You scared the crap out of her. She jumps and turns around and looks up at you. And you have the charcoal drawings of the office, right? You
of the tower with the moon.
right.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, yep, Xandalus sees, praise.
Make me a deception check.
I will assist because I'm not actively attacking them yet.
My assistance is I'm not trying to murder you yet.
19 plus 8 is 27.
27.
That's gonna be a 25.
Yeah, you're good. That's gonna 27 is gonna critically succeed.
Yeah, I lost my robes, but
She looks at you, and the other guy is still banging around and rooting in the filing cabinet. And she looks at you and turns to him. Hey, look! And he stops and turns around. Apostates?
yeah, apostates.
Yeah.
yeah, that right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
She shakes her head. No.
You probably don't recognize me because I've been in like the camp, just like blending in.
He she points up at the drawing that you have and just like tries to grab it. She's gonna grab it out of your hands if you let her. And takes it. He's seen.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen it. He's seen the thing. They know of Xandos. You know of Xandos.
I know the
You
administrator met with him and everything.
I was teaching them. And she turns around and points to this little circle of dolls.
Good work.
I was teaching them. I have to
Good work.
protect them. We have to keep them safe. Xandos is the only way. And
The only way.
the guy kind of looks at you. What have you been doing?
Oh, recon the camp over there, the people that aren't us.
Oh,
Yeah, just kind of like figure
There's
out what
more?
their plans is. They're all over. There's people all over the place. They're
Where?
like in the rehab wing, or there's some in like the boiler room. They're all over the place.
rehab. The rehab we can't go to the rehab's forbidden. That's
Yeah.
where they are. We can't
Yeah, they're working with the ghouls too. They have some. They're like trying to like form an alliance against the apostates.
Does grandmother know? And he looks over at the woman. I don't know.
I haven't talked to grandmother in a while. I've been pretty undercover.
Is she the one who sent you? Is she the one who sent you to look, to scout?
Yeah, to go undercover, kind of double agent stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
It's wild.
It's what?
What the rest of you doing? What are you?
I'm just looking at him. Like, how have they not caught on to what he's just feeding back to them with every word that comes out of their mouths?
The guy kind of looks at you.
Grandmother sent you to look at these records?
No, Xandalus sent us. We were trying to remove anything left from him from before.
True. Yeah, I just got like there's this journal in the administration that said stuff about him. Pretty scandalous.
We should take that to him.
Oh no, I already. Yeah, I got that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't, yeah.
So, what? What is in here? What do you need us? Does he need us?
Yeah, you should probably go back.
How long have you been out?
Like probably the last 2 days.
We can't. You haven't seen the darkness.
The darkness?
The darkness.
Nah.
We can't get back to the camp. We're stuck out here.
Oh, I guess I don't know. They have like some magic in their camp, so I guess I've been like out of the darkness.
The room that leads through to the camp, to our church.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. It's not just dark. It's wrong. It's too big. It's impassable. We can't go through it.
Wait, so you're stuck here?
Lawerniel tried. Lawerniel tried, and he didn't come back. He went in with his torch, and his torch disappeared. It swallowed it instantly, gone in the gloom. And
If he didn't come back, it sounds like he made it through.
I don't think he made it through. We heard him scream. It's
An excitement.
Yeah, he's with me.
I come around the corner. All hail,
Also
Xandalus.
with me. Yeah, we're all.
Xandalus.
Well, I'm clearly not hidden. I'm standing right behind him.
He's just there, hobgoblin.
I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So if I find any good stuff in the records?
I don't know. There's too many names. There's too many names. There's too many papers. It doesn't make any sense. I can't find anything. It doesn't make any sense. And he just hits the filing cabinet and just sits there punching the drawer.
It's all right.
None of this makes any sense. None of this is in any order. And easy for an A+ cover story. I believe a 0 points and a plus question mark.
Sweet. Yeah. No worries. I'm gonna put in a good word for you with the grandmother. You've been doing a good job. It's all really complicated. They're getting in our heads and making it weird for us. It's not your fault.
And the lady on the floor just kind of looks up at you. So, grandmother sent you. She's back in the church. Probably, I don't know. We haven't seen her. We can't get past the darkness. It's just us and Biggs.
Yeah, we're trying to work a way to figure out the darkness because the darkness is not affecting them. So I was working undercover and see why they aren't being affected by it.
Well, praise Xandalus for protecting you.
Yeah.
I need, and she'll just turn back around to the dolls, and so you see, when you devote yourself, when you understand, when you've opened your heart, that is the safety in his words and his embrace and his dream. And she's just turned tuned at it.
We're all gonna look at the records. Don't mind us. We're just gonna get more information about the people in the camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me. I'll go tell Biggs.
Yeah. Biggs is in another room here.
Biggs is, and he just kind of like motions to the other side of the hallway.
The
Biggs,
personal effects room.
I'll go let him know.
Okay.
And he just sort of, if you let him, I'll slide past all of you. He'll go and
By all means.
go into the personal effects room and just kind of shut the door behind him. He leaves. The woman sitting on the floor, still just teaching her dolls about the glory of Xandalus, as the group of you.
And then we'll rifle.
Does the personal effects room have a lock?
No, he just opens the door and walks in. Oh, does it have a lock? If it did, it'd be on the inside. It's got a, like, oh, you have the keys.
I have the keys.
I mean, the
if it has,
knob's gonna be on the inside, but like,
It's second to unlock the door. It's second to unlock.
you can like
we're gonna.
You could like jam it.
That's what I was thinking. Is like, all right, they're in there. Jam the door,
Okay.
or lock the door, or go into this room and lock the door. Like, put a locked door between us and whatever Biggs is.
Absolutely. With your key that fits, you have a key to the personal effects room. You can fit it in there, and you can basically just break it. Like you're gonna have to
I
destroy
don't want
the.
to break it. I just want to lock the door.
Okay. Yeah, but like if you lock the door, the thing.
I
that
can
unlocks
jam the
itself-
personal effects room.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then go into this room and lock this
Okay.
door.
So you're gonna need to like
Yes.
break the lock on
Yes.
the personal effects room. So when you want to get in there, you're gonna have to like break the door down, which is
I'm expecting that'll be handled for us.
fair enough. you break that.
His
snap
name
the
is
key,
Biggs.
You snap that off, and you completely, beyond easy repair, ruin the lock of the personal effects room, and then all of you come in and shove yourselves into the records chamber
Sneak past this lady.
with this woman just sitting on the floor, preaching, proselytizing to her little classroom of dolls about the glory of Xandalis.
Let's see what we can find.
Just kind of scoop by. Praise Xandalis. Praise
Xandalis.
Xandalis, and I go over to
Your
the.
view- Start searching. It doesn't take terribly long for you to realize that the cabinets in here is sorted two ways. First by year, and then by name, by surname. It's a very efficient and simple system.
Well, let me just find Trey real quick.
That is the problem, is that you don't know a surname that you're looking for. You do know a year, and looking through the more recent file, there's a pretty decent number. This is a very large facility that handled dozens of patients. There are still, however, possibly less files than you would expect. It appears that most of the patients in the asylum are here pretty long term, if not indefinitely. New patients are somewhat uncommon, especially groups of new patients the size of yours. In addition to that, part of each file are a couple of labels, as well as a sketch that is done as part of the onboarding process. So while you may not have names, you know what you look like, and it's not that different than what you looked like 5 days ago. Everyone that's not EZ also has a pretty good way to narrow it down on the race. Not a lot of hobgoblins have been coming through here recently. And as you start to root through, it's going to take you some time. You will be able to find a small, simple file for each of you.
Ooh.
I have gifts. Let me make sure I've got everything here.
Oh my god.
We got handouts.
Oh my gosh. There's it! Oh my
I
god.
could have picked a better name.
Ooh.
Can't even spell brick right.
What is? Oh, it should be here.
Actually,
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my god. I don't
These
even know what to
files
say. Oh my gosh.
have quite a bit of information. And as each of you receive your own personal file with your first look at your new character art,
We can
Oh
open
my
this
gosh.
one. God.
based on
Sick.
the descriptions that you have given
Oh
us.
dude, you guys look so high.
You want to put at least the character art in your dice trays there so we can show the class.
You see that?
come on. Big bros
Ready to
over
take
here.
a turn?
I hate this. I hate
Oh
everything
no,
about this.
mine says some scary stuff. Me?
How much you choose to share of the rest of the file is entirely up to you.
The scariest thing in all these files, I don't care what any of them says, tax collector.
Dude, oh,
Can you
you're
imagine?
the real big bad, dude.
Imagine MD showing up at your door.
You.
You're late.
You're overdue.
I guess that's more Trey than MD.
You're late.
I'm county guard. If you're overdue,
He's with
he
me.
determines-
You still up together. He just got a sap in his hand. So,
Sure.
all of you, first and foremost, I have a question. And feel free, you don't have to 100% lock this in right now. Do you want me to change your name in the intro and on the overlay to your real names?
Oh my gosh, I never thought we would find this soon.
Attached to all of our names at this point.
What are your real names, Trey?
Huglum.
Uglum,
Brick.
Brick,
Spelled with 2 K's.
with 2 Ks,
Martin.
Martin.
I believe it would be pronounced Edelmace?
I was thinking Edelmai. but
Edelmai? That makes more
was my
sense.
thought.
I've never seen this word before.
It's very
Edelmai.
stylized.
That's very pretty.
Edelmai.
Francis.
Edelmai Francis, Martin Stonka, Brick, and Hoagland.
Martin
I'm
Stonka.
Because I like Huglum, but I also like
Edelmai.
Trey.
We can make this decision later. It's not like I'm going to update the
Change it
overlays
right
right
now.
now on the fly. But think about it. You all see your admission report. It seems that despite the Count's request that no proper paperwork was filed, you do still have your admissions. The date that you arrived seeming to have been only a couple of days before the collapse. Your initial complaints, all of them pertaining some degree of amnesia and loss of memory. And for some of you, some additional notes and further observations during the few days that you were still here in operational Briarstone Asylum. You have a couple of other interesting bits around your file that all of you would notice. As would corroborate the administrator's journal, you were all admitted by Count Hasserton Miles IV, the current standing count of Versailles County. Your assigned doctor for all of you appears to be the administrator herself. Is there anything else anybody wants to share about their file?
3 orderlies required medical attention after onboarding.
What?
3 orderlies required medical attention after onboarding.
I apparently needed a wheelchair.
I was a menace.
Brick was a bit of a menace. Brick did react very violently at first, seemingly not taking well to new faces or his new life. And quite a few 3 orderlies were injured in the attempt to kind of get him started in the program. After which they kind of rolled back, went a little slowly. A very small single nurse and orderly that were assigned to working with you after they had slowly started to get you to accept them. Huglum had a pretty significant physical weakness to the point where he could barely stand and couldn't really walk or talk. They had to use a wheelchair to get around the asylum. A huge change from the man that you have been adventuring and surviving with for a couple of days. Did you want to share anything? Adelmai, Martin?
They have the scary stuff.
I think after opening mine, I pretty quickly kind of scoot to the other side of the room, scan it, and like close it kind of violently.
Now I'm curious.
Well, got a lot of good records on people.
I think we're the better of the 4.
Most likely.
Which is surprising. There's
All right. So besides ourselves,
might as well just share with the class.
I got tabs on mine. Do you guys have tabs? Let's
Yeah,
talk
and I
about
also have
the
an orange
tabs.
dot. And then
Well,
Were
I
you a
assume
serial
that's
killer?
Lysandro.
and then that's the date.
That's the date.
Arden 16.
And what do you say? What?
What, were you a serial killer or something?
No. No, I was. My occupation is arcane research.
I was a chronicler And but I
Chronicle?
didn't know Taldane at all. I didn't know. I couldn't speak. I spoke
He
in
had a
serpent tongue.
significant language barrier when
Yeah.
Martin first arrived, as he what at first seemed to just be speaking in tongues turned out to be a language that required like scribe time in the library to translate anything that he said.
Are you like a secret snake or something?
Maybe.
Come on, Cammy. What you got for us?
I'm
Is it embarrassing?
from Thrushmore.
Yep. Same.
Oh, well, look at that.
Neighbors, maybe.
I'm sure we all knew about each other.
Well, I mean, yeah, it. Over here. But it.
You see her move a sticky note inside her folder. You guys got sticky notes?
I don't got a sticky note.
I don't got a
Nobody else has sticky notes? Okay.
I mean, it
well,
can't be as bad as being a tax collector.
SCP file.
It's.
And she's looking through it. You see her moving the sticky note. You see her pick the thing up and look at the second page. Do you guys have a second page?
No.
No.
Are you so serious right now?
Oh,
No! Oh no! I got 2 pages. I got notes over here.
Yeah, 1 page.
One good page.
Are you so
Single-sided.
nobody has extra notes?
Nothing.
I'm a simple man with simple means.
I got like notes over here too.
Does anyone have notes on the inside of their folder?
Nope.
yeah, I got one little note.
Martin's got some.
Yeah, scribe required.
Scribe.
Just scribe
They,
required.
they needed a translator.
Gosh.
What's it? Is that yours? Is probably a pretty simple clerical note. Too.
Hey,
Huh?
Cammy.
Yours is a simple clerical note like that.
Yeah.
They need to describe or something for you.
Yeah.
Something about your dietary preferences.
Yeah, no, it says I'm allergic to peanuts.
Okay, Cammy, if you tell me an interesting story out of your folder, I'll tell you an interesting story, a conversation I had with the tattered man.
Okay. Well, it says that, it says client's caretaker reports moderate retrograde amnesia. I'm sure all of ours say
Yep.
that. As well as symptomatic loss of consciousness.
Huh.
And that I was delivered unconscious.
We carried you around unconscious.
Yeah, we
That
already
did
knew that
happen.
one.
She was completely out. They had to carry her. To the asylum.
Swaddled, even. Carried you like a child.
That's true. That is something that has happened already, repeated itself here.
Huh. Yeah, that's what mine says.
For what it's worth,
Oh, gosh.
we should probably not stay in here.
What does
Why-
the ARO mean?
Neurodine.
Do you,
Eridus?
You would
The month?
probably be Erodus the month. That
That
would
makes
be the way
sense.
that the files are organized. That would be the month and year of your admission. It takes no small stretch either to figure out that the blue tag on each file is the assigned doctor. Simple 3-letter code LOS for Administrator Lissandro. Notably, looking through the rest of the files, again, you would see 0 other blue tags with LOS. The Administrator doesn't take patients. She has more going on. But Xandalis did not appear to be the only one. It was also you.
Is Xandalis in here?
That's what I was gonna start
Is
looking for.
Xandalis' record in here?
but we don't have a sketch for Xandalis.
But,
his name is
But you
We
have
have
his
an
name.
escape for that one.
yeah.
Maybe.
And he's been here for like decades.
Let's look for that.
We're gonna all 4 be looking for that.
Yeah. Also, do I have a tattoo?
Oh, yeah, you have a tattoo.
Okay. Is it cool?
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
pretty- it's
Is
pretty
it,
cool.
it doesn't say like something
I don't
bad.
even know
it's
what
not,
your
it's not like
taste is,
okay.
but
it's just like a couple of lines.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. As long as it's not like
As you
minimalist.
peruse through your files
Cool.
and think to perhaps look,
Trendy.
look for Xandalis' file, you hear a banging in the hallway.
It's kind of hard to sneak with someone just
It's-
sitting in the room.
Shortly after, it would be for a brief moment, like someone was trying to force not your door, but maybe the door across the hall.
what's going on?
Shortly after, you would hear the door handle to the records office jiggle. You had locked it. And you hear the guy's voice again. Oh, hey, the door's locked. And the woman from the floor would go and move to unlock it.
Not gonna stop him.
Is it easy? Are you doing
No, no, no.
something? No? She stands up and unlocks the door and opens it and lets the guy back in. Something happened to that door. It's jammed or something. I had to use the other one.
It's an old building.
Fair
It
enough.
happens.
Both doors on the left side lead to the personal effects storage.
Oh, I would have information.
We locked
Yeah.
this one up so no one would get in here.
He comes in and just sort of looks across the group. Oh, is this for your reconnaissance?
Yeah.
You're finding
Yes.
files?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
nice to meet you, Biggs.
Recon.
No, this is the first guy.
Oh.
This is the same dude. Who else? Who else did Xandalus want? I didn't think.
He wanted all of the ones that have this blue tag right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just
Yes.
with sort of
This
okay,
specific name.
Oh, with the LOS. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how could you find 4 of them? This is barely even. There's no sorting here.
We started just from the very first ones and started working our way back. Got lucky.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought it was a deception check. Honestly, that's literally what he did.
Yeah.
So he says, "Oh, okay. I'll start on this end, and
Good.
you work from that end. And we'll
Perfect.
find all the what does it say? We'll
LOS.
find all the LOS
tags.
tags.
Yes.
And
I think they're the only ones that are blue.
they're all blue with the Doctor. Label.
Never mind.
It's just a
No,
different
the
code.
LOS then.
They would have different. You should also have a colored little dot next to your name. Those would be different, and the vast majority of them would be green. Yours would be some of the. All 4 of yours would have that orange dot, but they would be the only ones in your Euro folder. Almost all of them would be green. You would actually have only seen green, other than the orange on yours.
Green is a different month?
Then
or is this
I
something
would-
totally different?
This is the dot that's
Yeah.
next to your name on the
Oh.
actual tab.
Then I would tell him to also look for any oddly colored dots.
Okay.
And we'll do the same because that'll make the search faster.
Looking through, rooting, calling it adventure.
I'm like, hey, you see anything cool in the personal effects room? Anything nice?
I don't know. Biggs is looking to see if there's any supplies in there. He's collecting lanterns. We're gonna get a bunch of lanterns and we're gonna light them all up and tie them together and see if we can get through the darkness.
Oh,
It's
good
his idea.
Yeah, I got one
That's
too.
brilliant, dude. Yeah.
Yes. That's why we let him come up with the ideas. He's good.
Yeah,
He's good at
that's
them.
big brain man.
Just
Big
looking
brain.
at everybody, just like,
Yeah, he's real smart. He knows what he's doing.
So you'll all start rooting through filing cabinets here. You starting from recent.
I'm not rooting through anything.
What are you doing? Just waiting.
Just
he's
waiting.
tooting.
The rest of you rooting for some of these supplies. You're looking for more LOS tags, looking for possibly Xandalus's file, looking for other
Orange.
strange marks. Going back a year, you would immediately start to find a small smattering of yellow tagged files. As far as you can tell, because there is no immediate key to the labeling of this, all of the yellow tagged files you find have one thing in common, and that is they are transfers. They all have some additional reports attached into the back that aren't laid out the same, don't have the same designs, aren't on the same stationery as the Briarstone records that are their previous records from whatever facility they came from. Beyond that, all greens for the entirety of the prior year, the year before, and the year before that. Greens and yellows.
Is it apparent what the greens mean?
It seems to be nearly every patient, so it may just be nothing. It may be as close to nothing as possible. It may be like a standard. Seeing as yellows are transfers, green may be a normal admission, but you're just guessing. There's no common thread you can find between the greens other than a Briarstone Asylum patient. The yellows being transfers is one very obvious common thread.
Well, off that, it's safe to say oranges are probably special admissions.
Possibly, it would make sense.
And can I start from the end? Because I know Xanos has been here at least.
Sure, you can work
10
with
years?
the guy and start at the other end of the
Yeah.
two. You can work there.
You can
Um,
be best buds.
Some years back, about 6, you would come across a folder with a red dot. The first that you had seen. The red dot is a patient file with the last name Loomis. And as you open it up, you would find Agara Loomis. Sketches of what appears to be an older woman. And the red dot is the theory of type of admission may well be confirmed. Red is criminally committed. Loomis is here on basically violent, murderous insanity. What color is yours?
It's orange. It's orange.
And rather than committing her to the gallows. Her sentence perhaps as an act of sympathy, perhaps as an actual surprisingly in-depth understanding of her mental state, was to have her sent here. The red dot seems to be criminally insane. Going back, what? So go ahead.
Does she have a sketch as well?
She would have a sketch as well.
Does it at all resemble the?
It doesn't look like anything you've seen.
Not like.
Doesn't look like the old lady from the Spirit.
Like
It doesn't
the
look like the old
very
lady from the very
first?
beginning.
Okay.
It's not a face you recognize.
Different old, and not one in the Misty.
No, she's got like very thick, almost like a wild mane of hair. The sketch doesn't have any color, so you can go off because she looks like that. Perfect. Hold it. Her eyes are huge and wide and wild, and her jaw is almost like it's locked. She looks like she should have a red dot on her forehead.
Yeah, dude.
And with her age and her admission, she was admitted in her late 60s, 6 years ago. She would be she would be early 70s now if she's still present. That same year, you would find a second red dot. Last name, Scan.
Scan?
Scan. First name, Elacy. Those two were committed in the same year. They did not appear to be related at all, which is perhaps a bad year for Briarstone. But Elacy, Elacy is a name that you recognize,
Yes.
and in fact a face that you recognize from the guise that doppelganger had taken. The other end of the scale, working your way up through old patients. Back, this record room goes back a few generations. Briarstone Asylum is not quite 200 years old. You're pretty sure Xandalus probably is at 200. So you start more perhaps in the middle, a few decades back, and start to look. Rooting through, you find a folder with a yellow dot and a blue LOS tag. Xandalus. Notably, it is not a blue LOS tag. It is green. There are a couple of green doctor labeled tags throughout the area. You're not sure what the distinction between the green and the blue doctor codes are, but going back through the years, you see a couple of the three-letter name codes that are on blue tags become green tags as you go back.
As you go.
As you go back
Back.
through the files.
Okay, so they just
So the
changed
idea
the
that
color.
it was green,
It
became blue.
became blue.
Gotcha.
The suppliers changed and had to change
Yeah.
colors. And
But there are still
Those
mostly,
ran out
vastly
and-
majoritively blue tags, blue doctor assignment tags. The couple green ones that you have, or that you find, are all universally what seem to be low impact and shorter term patients. Zandalus's file
30 years ago.
is decades past. He was admitted on in the year 4685, and it's currently 4716. He's been here for nearly 30 years in Briarstone Asylum, and he was assigned to Dr. Lissandro. Notably, it says Dr. Lissandro.
This is
Administrator.
before she was the administrator. That's why the tag is green.
Oh my gosh, this is so weird.
And it says from Pharasma. I mean, is that where Winter's from, or is that different?
No, he's from what, Rivenport?
It says Rosenport.
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 Pharasma.
Phrasma.
It's a Pharasman psych ward. Yeah.
Okay.
He was admitted by, as all the other transfer files are, the Syncomacti School of Sciences, a name that you recognize briefly as one of the co-founders of Briarstone Asylum itself, along with Count Hassan Miles I. He was brought from the Phrasman Lamentations in Rosenport, implying that originally he was, much like Winter had said, one of those who had simply petitioned one of the various chapels or priories for assistance. It's a common service of clergy throughout the region. those that need healing, those that need support. The clerics have magic. They have the power of pharasma. They offer that to the people, those who can't afford other treatment, but those who have nowhere else to turn. He seems as he was one of them, but he was seemingly beyond what they were able to treat. The Stinkamacti school, for whatever reason, took him from there and then ended up transferring him over to Briarstone for a long-term, low-intensity care plan. It was fairly simple. The man suffered from nightmares. He ended up sort of becoming so withdrawn into himself from these continuous exposures to his nightmares that he barely lived. He barely interacted with people outside. He barely even seemed to be cognizant of his surroundings. It was a bad situation for him, one that appeared to have advanced significantly enough that the Stinkamacti school took interest. And then he arrived here. In the near 30 years since then, they do have quite a bit of information about his developments throughout the intervening years. You would see that they very quickly discovered he had one thing he did take a very vivid interest in, and that was art. You saw the drawings in Administrator Lissandro's office, framed up as they were, those strange cityscapes. This outlet seemed to really bring him out of his shell, seemed to reconnect him out to the world. He was very enthusiastic about the charcoal drawings. The next development is near 15 years later, as Lissandro noted that the subject of his art, once strange, almost surreal landscapes, those kind of Salvador Dali-esque drawings, and shifted to a near singular focus. A standing stone in the corner of the island that she speaks of. A monument, a little totem that's just part of the isle and has been there longer than the asylum has. Interestingly, Lissandro does not believe Xandalis has ever seen this stone. The shores of the island are off limits to patients. They don't explore outside the asylum itself. That's what the interior gardens, the park, are for. But his depictions of it are clear. Sometime later, 1 year ago, Count Hasserton Lowes IV took a very direct interest in Xandalis and started quite frequent visitation with him specifically. He originally came interested in Xandalis' art and followed that to an interest in the artist.
Oh man.
Gotta love the nightmare spell.
The picture of that old lady, I'm just gonna hold it up to the other people in the room and be like, recognize this?
So, oh, yeah, that's Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma.
Cool, yeah, great.
She's gonna love
Good
that.
thing
That's a good picture.
we gotta
That's-
keep her information safe.
We should.
Who
And
has this file on them?
I'll probably.
You probably have it. I'm gonna walk over to him and just kind of take it and hide it. Just shove it up in my armor.
fair enough. We should. And she stinks for a second. She looks over to the guy. Are we supposed to be getting rid of these? He just looks down. Oh, right, that's what we were looking for. We were looking, well, it was for Xandalis. We were looking for his file, but we should probably get rid of grandmother's too.
Wouldn't it be easier just to get rid of all of the files at one time? No one needs them anymore.
And just burn the file.
You won't have to look. It saves so much time.
I guess that would make sense, actually.
All then.
Don't see a reason we couldn't. So as you've been exploring and finding these files,
Literally
This-
getting helped.
there was a second door in this records room that you would have gone through that's kind of like an overflow, leads into another smaller chamber full of yet more records. That second area is where you would have ended up finding Xandalus's file in the first place. That room is much smaller, and you're not immediately sure what differentiates it from the first area. But you've got this kind of like connected set of 2 rooms that you're spread across now. I didn't think of that. I guess if we just got rid of everything, but
Then there might be.
what if Xandalus needs them later? He didn't
That-
want to destroy it. He wanted to bring it to him.
Oh,
He-
okay. You're right.
Then we can just take it to him.
When we find it, we should take grandma's. We should take
Yeah.
grandma's too. Grandma should come with us.
Damn, we have to finish looking through this room.
And he just goes back to dutifully rooting through the drawers. So I'm completely unaware that you had found Xandalus's file and were passing it around. I don't know.
literally. Hey, look.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine you
We've
guys
been
were.
passing a few files.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the only file you guys have like pulled out and looked at. You've been looking through some, trying to figure out this filing system, trying to figure out what the colors mean. So it's not like it's alone.
But actually, probably to the easy. It'd probably be very important to see if we can't find some of the people in the camp's files too.
True.
We
Know what
need
medications
information
they
so we
need.
can help them.
Yeah, especially the ones that are like sick and need medications.
Yes.
So I imagine like whoever like knows stuff.
Zolman needs the information too.
While you're looking around, why doesn't everybody make me a perception check real quick?
That was in good sync.
23.
12, sick.
8 plus 7 is 15.
13 on the die. 19.
19. The only one who would notice actually would be Trey, as you were kind of looking around figuring out if there's anything else in here that you wanted. You would notice in this second of the rooms, in this little square section, there is a bit of the wall that looks like it is a false panel. It actually opens up.
I'm not going to immediately point that out or say anything.
It would be a very clear view of the 2
Yeah.
cultists here, for sure.
I will wait for a moment where I can have the room to myself. Or at least have them distracted
Right.
and doing
It
something
is like
else.
on the west wall, so it'd be visible through the open door
You-
that connects the 2 chambers.
Do you say anything to us?
Not immediately, unless there's like someone that I can like nudge and point. Because I
We're
don't
all-
want to say.
We're all over there, so
Then it'll just be like a light nudge and I'll point at the wall. But I won't verbally say anything. Just I will be clearly pointing at what appears to just be a wall.
And looking at
gonna-
that false panel a little closer, once you see it, there is a small little keyhole on the side of it.
what I'm gonna do, since he pointed out, I'm gonna walk back into the other room. Are these like cabinets not bolted to the wall or anything?
No, they're just like standing cabinets.
Knock one down and go, oops. Can someone help me pick this up? And can everyone come over here and help me pick this up really fast?
And the lady kind of like
Oh,
starts
did-
and shovels away. And
did I hurt the
a couple of her
kids?
dolls.
Did I hurt them?
Yeah. No, I'm assuming you're dropping it
Yeah,
on
no,
them,
no,
but, like,
I-
she scoots them a little bit further away anyway, almost like protectively.
I'm sorry.
And the guy's like,
I just got frustrated with how these things are not organized at all.
it's infuriating. It's infuriating. It's infuriating.
I have an idea. Me and you reorganize them in a way that makes sense.
That's a great idea.
Let's get started right now.
We can sort them. We can put them in order.
Let's start with this one right here that I knocked over by accident.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Make me a deception check to create a diversion.
18 total.
Pretty good. Trey, you can pretty well see that they're diverted.
Key little hole.
Take the same little key you took from Sandra's desk and fit into the keyhole and open the panel. Inside, there are a couple of things. There is a small little leather purse with quite a few coins inside of it. There is a small little string of 6 pearls, not like a necklace or a bracelet or anything so much as a string to kind of hold them together. A little, what looks almost like a business card. It's very bright colored and stylized. Now the center of it being a wide open eye with a couple of layers of bright alternating like red, yellow, and green, and these big triangular like isometric eyelashes. and below it, it says a sleepless detective agency. But the biggest thing that you see in here is what looks to be a longsword. A longsword set in a red and black scabbard. The end of it a little bit curved, almost kind of scimitar-like. The pommel of the sword sticking out is sculpted in the shape of a cardinal, almost reaching out from the handle of the blade itself. And there is an etched gold band across the crossguard with the name Red Destiny inscribed across it.
Wait, that sounds fancy.
What's the fan?
That sounds like your style.
That sounds like that's me right there.
So I'll put the card in a pocket, put the pouch in another pocket, and sword has a sheath.
Yes,
and-
in a scabbard, yeah.
Okay, scabbard, and does it
It's in a
have
scabbard, it's got a strap. It's
over the back?
He's had it the whole time.
And yeah, just had it the whole time, and then I'm just gonna close that and lock it,
fair enough.
and we're done.
And not long later, MD and his new friend get the cabinet back up, and he's happily going to resorting a bunch of things, taking this very organized year and last name system and doing, you have honestly no idea what with it.
Fine, he's happy. And now one more of this seed of trickery here.
And the necklace.
I'm gonna take the files out of Xanthos' folders and swap them with another one. And then
Well, the sketches are attached by little clips, so you can even keep the sketch of Xandalis on the new one.
yep. So like I literally like all of that, like all the information out of one folder into a just random patients folder, and that information into Xanthos, because I'm assuming they know nothing. This
Other
is the
than what
assumption
he
I'm
looks
making.
like.
Other than what
Probably.
he looks like. And just toss out the sketch. Just no sketch in the fake Xanthos folder now. So
Okay. No sketch at all.
here you go. We found Xanthos' folder.
Oh.
Oh, we found it? We did it?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
we-
right there. Easy found it. Easy.
Easy.
He takes it and opens it up and starts looking at it. We did it. He's going to be so proud.
Good work.
We're going to receive his blessings multiplied. The tattered man can't touch us. And the lady on the floor just kind of looks up. His protection will be infinite.
Yup.
We're gonna go tell Biggs real quick.
Oh,
We're gonna go let Biggs
Oh,
know.
yeah, let Biggs know. This is wonderful news.
Keep looking for the other important files. We'll be right back.
This is great. And he's just seeming like he's just lost, just reading this file, which is probably pretty clearly. I mean, I guess if you don't know anything about Xandalis, it's somebody.
It's a picture.
It's a,
not even a picture.
not even a picture. Yeah. Are you leaving?
We're gonna leave,
Head out of the records.
and
room?
we're gonna go talk to Biggs.
Shut the door.
I'm gonna jam this
Have a
door
nice
too.
day.
Can I check one more thing?
Sure.
So it was Elacy Zan?
Elacy Sand, yeah.
How do you spell those?
Elacy is I-L.
Never mind. I thought that it was
We're gone.
Elacy Zan, and I thought it was
Oh.
easy.
Oh, no. It's also
Immediately,
Scan,
never mind.
S-C-A-E-N.
Immediately lost interest.
Immediately,
Yeah,
never mind.
never mind. Neither of
First
those
letter
letters
wrong.
were what I
No.
wanted. Thank you. That's a good thought,
I was
though.
like-
saying easy, but no, it's I-S would be her
Because
initials.
nobody had EZ as their initials.
No. You're the only two that have surnames. They're just Brick and Hugglem.
Oh, that's
welcome,
true.
welcome to Monster Ancestries.
So it's not a monster ancestry. You're an orc. They just have, like, of tribe. They don't have a last
Yeah, I don't
name.
even have that.
Honestly, looking through this, you give it. What's the race on yours?
The ancestry
No,
orc.
Huglam. What's the race on yours? Did you
Didn't
look?
it just say goblinoid?
This is goblinoid. So
Yeah.
you
Ancestry goblinoid.
What's
get-
the race say on yours?
Barissa.
What is that?
That
Same
actually
as-
says orc parentheses Belkzen.
you get the feeling that maybe like when it goes beyond the scope of standard human citizens, they don't have like maybe not, I don't want to say racism, but like it's not as fleshed out.
There's a lack of
He
understanding.
just got
so-
goblinoid
a
as his
societal
ancestry.
barrier.
Yeah. It doesn't even say hobgoblin, it's just goblinoid, the same thing as an actual goblin
I
would
could
say.
be a bugbear, and they wouldn't
You could be
know.
a bugbear, they write goblinoid. You got Belkson at least on yours. But you got Varisian. You're the only one
Yeah.
that gets like an actual ethnicity. Varisian would just basically be like the race that you are.
That's from this area, Thrushmore and stuff.
That's it's not like the predominant race here, but it's pretty common. Like Varisians are pretty widespread throughout the whole of the world, really. They are a little more like a little bit olive skinned, sort of almost like Mediterranean. Would be the
You're Italian.
the simplest appearance analog that I can give you to like an actual existing population. What is? Did you just say gnome?
Gnome.
I was like, I'm pretty sure it just says gnome.
Mine says gnome.
This dude doesn't know anything about like flavors of gnome. You're just,
He knows. I got an extra word to the work. That makes me feel special.
that's true. You got Belkson, so like you guys have enough civilization that you get a qualifier on there, so that's
Yeah.
cool. You head around to the far door of the personal effects room, which does in fact look like it is a significantly larger room, but has two different entrances. As you step in, you can see that there are racks spread end to end on this room of a lot of labeled boxes, which would be labeled in a similar fashion to the files that most of you had, a lot of them with years and patient last names, as well as sprawling collections of just haphazard junk everywhere. A lot of this stuff would be just in what appears to be a growing heap in the back end of the room, where a pretty large, hulking figure, very much worthy of the name Biggs, has just been throwing things. He's just a guy. He's just a really big guy.
We're just
like
guys.
We're looking at like a 6'6", 350. Like he's just a massive, and he's not like. Yeah, he's like
Part of the bro team now.
He's just a big dude.
He's one of us.
You come in. He slowly kind of just turns.
Hey,
Are you
Biggs.
sneaking in, or are you just
No,
coming
just
in?
coming in.
Xandalus
Slowly,
sees.
just
I'm,
sort of turns.
Please.
I'm not coming in immediately.
We found it.
Maybe a deception check. You haven't met this guy yet.
I follow the expert.
It's just him, Meg.
Okay, good.
Oh, do you
Don't-
want-
It's not like an
That's
exploration
super good
activity
for us, yeah.
thing that he's doing.
12 plus 8, 20.
20. He kind of looks at you. I don't recognize you.
Yeah, I've been I just told them I've been undercover. With the-
You're heretics. You're not.
Oh,
Wait.
Who's? He kind of narrows his eyes. Who's our doctor? In the church.
The grandmother.
You're heretics.
is-
You're gonna turn. And he
Lumis-
turns, reaches down
Lysandra.
to grab what looks like just a big freaking timber that had fallen out from somewhere. This room's pretty intact, so he's been lugging this around with him. Pretty clear intentions to get to smacking. I gotta stop you. You're gonna be monsters. You don't have Xandalus's protection. The Tenderman's gonna get you. And as he picks this up and comes the lumber towards you, you all look at them. Cammy freezes for a moment in what kind of looks like fear, and then just sort of falls over.
no!
Narcolepsy.
Look what you did, Biggs.
He doesn't stop. As she just drops in a heap on the floor, her eyes roll back in her head, and she just collapses for seemingly no reason. We're gonna pause and end today's session.
Oh my gosh.
You guys thought Biggs was gonna
Sorry, I
be
just pieced out, guys.
That Biggs is gonna be very reasonable.
You guys thought
I gotta
Biggs was
catch
gonna be
some
the big
Z's.
dumb idiot that sees you. He's the leader for a reason.
He
is.
has the biggest brain.
He's got his bigs for his brain.
His
He's a
biggest
smart
muscle
guy.
is the
He can see through this.
What's great about these folders?
Yeah, you can put your character sheets and stuff in
Oh,
there. Yeah, you got
heck
some nice
yeah.
labeled folders to keep your things in. That's as cool as the first half of the session was and everything. That's the thing I was hoping we would get to today.
I can't believe we got these this. I thought it would be forever until we found out.
We have explored a pretty good amount of Briarstone Asylum.
What episode?
And we're on 8, 9, 10.
10.
It
like,
has
we're-
been forever.
We're a decent way into this. You guys are going to be getting pretty close to level 3, I would say. Expect that one to come in the nearish future. We're making good progress. We learned a lot of stuff today. A lot of names, bits, and things we've heard are starting to intersect in different ways. We found our own files. Think about whether you want to stick with. It looks so fun to play with.
It is.
So think about whether you want to stick with the names you've given yourselves that you've been going by for so long, or if you want to switch to your actual names. They would, of course, at first almost sound alien to you, even just reading them, but even just looking through your files, you would start to get a little tingle of familiarity, just a bit of recognition, like it feels right.
I didn't see a Dr. Francis in front of mine, so I think that's a typo. I'm pretty.
Yeah, the part where it says serial killer.
No.
Strange Aeons will return next week, everybody. Same time, same place, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here at twitch.tv/UGT show. But this is not the end of all of the tabletop content that we have for the weekend, because we got a big old brick of shows throughout the weekend now. For the next couple weeks, next while, we're going to be having Strange Aeons Saturdays at 3. We're going to be having our adventures in Sentima, Sundered Wilds, a totally new system we just started last week, Sundays at 4, so that's tomorrow. And then Malevolence, Monday evenings at 7. With some more Pathfinder 2e. 2 Pathfinder shows, another very different, super interesting table show with the Sentima system. We got a lot of content. We got a lot of stuff coming out. We got a lot of fun things. Thanks for being here, everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow, Monday, and next week for the next episode of Strange Aeons. Enjoy your weekend. Good night.